guys, Bobbi-Christina here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you once again for joining me. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, hey, it's good to see you again. Before we jump into the pop talk, let's take care of the housekeeping rules. Go ahead and subscribe. Stay until the end. Enjoy the video and give it a thumbs up. I am battling snow falling on my AC and my noisy neighbor upstairs who decides that after 11 o'clock it's the appropriate time to start dragging furniture and playing jukebox music. But such is life. When there are obstacles in your way, you gotta push through. So here we are, and we are about to get into some pop talk. So there's lots of things going on in the news as always, and I am excited to be sharing my thoughts with you on them. Let's get started. First up, Donald Trump Jr. and his wife Vanessa are getting a divorce. Now, she filed for the divorce. They've been married for some time and they have 5 children together. And apparently sources are saying that she really had no desire to be in the public eye, especially where the politics are concerned. And the last straw for her was when she received the anthrax threat at their home and decided that that was enough. Now, there were talks a few years ago that there was turmoil in their marriage and they were supposed to call it quits a long time ago, but that didn't happen, and so now it is finally happening. However, thrown into the mix of all of this is Aubrey Odey. Now, if you remember, Aubrey Odey used to be a part of Danity Kane, and she was on The Apprentice back in 2011, and apparently her and Donald Trump Jr. began a relationship. They had an affair while Vanessa, his soon-to-be ex-wife, was pregnant with their 4th child. So she's not denying it by any means, and there's been proof thus far of 2 songs, in fact, that she recorded that basically talked about the affair that they had. And some are saying, well, what is it that Donald Trump Jr. has that we're not able to see? Like, is he hiding some swagger somewhere that we're not aware of? Because typically the kind of guys she dates are like Diddy and Pauly D, and so he doesn't really fit into that category. Hey, but you know what? Sometimes if things don't work for you, you try something different, and maybe that's what she did with him. It didn't work out with her and him either because he was a married man. Like, you don't do stuff like that. But you know what? It's unfortunate. The Trump family are not ideal right now. Like, they're totally not anybody's favorites. However, when a family is being broken up, regardless of your feelings about them, you don't ever want to see that, especially because there are children involved. So, you know, however they decide to split this marriage up, I hope that it happens in a peaceful manner. Also in the news is Mr. Nick Gordon. Now, Nick Gordon, if you remember, was associated with Bobbi-Christina. He actually dated her, and then it's kind of weird because Whitney Houston adopted him as like her son, and so then he started dating Bobby, and they were kind of like pseudo brother and sister, just incest sort of kind of, if you really dig a little deeper. Nevertheless, she died 4 years ago, and he allegedly had some play to do with it, but it was never really confirmed. He wasn't an official suspect in her death, and so now he's dating this girl named Laura. And earlier this week, the police was called in a domestic violence case and came to his home. They arrested him when they came. Now, he made the call and he was saying like, oh, she's beating me up. I feel so violated. I'm being hit by a girl. And Laura's taking all the blame in all of this stuff. Now, an order of protection was filed to protect her. She's not heeding those things. So she went back over to his home again, and a family member that's concerned about her called the police to report this. And when the police showed up to the home, Laura was there. Nick Gordon was arrested again because, of course, he was not supposed to be near her. Now, he's saying that she knew the codes to the apartment, so she came in, and she's confirming that. Her family member is saying that she suffers from battered woman syndrome, so you can't really take anything she says as face value. And also, apparently, she has like mental instability, like she might be bipolar or something. You know, it's a really scary situation, and I hope for the best for this. Bobby Brown has thrown himself into the mix, and he's trying to offer his help to this Laura girl. People are saying, Bobby, stay out of it because you kind of are the reason that this family is in turmoil. And to begin with, like with beginning all the way back to Whitney, introducing her to the drugs, now she's dead, and then left, you know, to the wolves was the daughter, preyed on by this Nick Gordon guy, and now she's dead. So just stay out of it. I am wishing for the best in this situation because you never want any woman or a man to be in some kind, just to be in a situation like this. While we're on the topic of domestic violence, let's talk about Trey Songs, because he allegedly beat up a young woman at a party during All-Star Weekend when he was taking her around to parties, and apparently she was talking to some guy at the party, and boom, he beat her up. She immediately went to the hospital and filed a police report, and so he had to turn himself in. So Wendy Williams was breaking this story down on her show. She's back, she's healthier than ever. Not really a fan of what she wore for the first day back, but I'm not a stylist, but I've got some kind of fashion sense, and I did not appreciate that outfit. Anyway, so she's breaking the story down, and a woman in the audience yells out, "Beat me." And immediately Wendy addressed it, because that's what she does. And I would have done it too. I'm like, are you serious? Like, why would you even make a statement like that? So she quickly said to the cameraman, "Do not pan your camera on this woman." And she looked at Norman and she was like, "Norman, did you hear that?" And he was like, "Uh-huh, I heard that." And I was looking at that thing feeling so uncomfortable. I was cringing in my own seat, and it wasn't even me that said the mess. So for that woman, I would imagine she probably wanted to just like hide under one of the chairs. You know, I thought two things. I'm like, okay, maybe she's saying beat me, like, oh, he's Trey Songs, I don't care, like, he can do whatever he wants. And that's not a great kind of idea to have either. Or she was thinking, yeah, you beat me, because after it's over, I'm running straight to the bank with these coins that I'm about to sue you for. Under no circumstance, either thought is appropriate. Like, I don't know what she was thinking, but I'm just trying to make sense of why she would say something like that, because it was just very outlandish. And yeah, it was embarrassing. But what I'm making sense of is this relationship that's budding between Kofi Siriboe and Ducky Thot. So Kofi Siriboe, you know, he is in Queen Sugar, and he was also in Girl Strip as Jada Pinkett's love interest. And Ducky Thot is a beautiful chocolatey Sudanese model that is just rising in her career. She is in all of those Fenty Beauty campaigns, and he supposedly professed his love for her on Instagram. She hasn't really like done the same back, and you know they say it's not official until it's Instagram official, but Instagram is a liar, so we can't take anything at face value. I am hoping that this relationship is factual. Visually, like, they are just melanin gold. Oh my gosh, the chocolate level is on 5 million. I'm excited about it. Just to look at them is appealing. And I hope this relationship is real. I will be following it for myself, for you, just because I'm all in it. All in it. What I'm not all in about though, guys, is this whole shooting up schools, blowing up stuff, young people. I mean, it's just, we're in terrible times. We're in terrible times. So for the past month, packages have been exploding all over Texas, and we figured out why. This young man, because he blew himself up on Wednesday, and he was the culprit. Leaving packages on people's premises, even dropping one off to FedEx, and then detonating one, blowing himself up in the end. So the crazy thing about this though is, like, you know, I'm not going to say his name, because when people do like horrendous things like this, I don't give them any kind of notoriety. You will not get the recognition that you're looking for. So as I'm reading the story, doing the research, the way they've painted him is just like he's just this perfect kid that, oh my gosh, we don't know, like, what happened? How could he have gone off and done something like this? Grew up in a Christian home, went to university, had great grades, and then boom, he blew up the joint. Never did they mention him being a terrorist, which is exactly what he is. You know what? Because if he looked Muslim, if he was Muslim, they would have painted him as the terrorist from the womb. They would have been talking about how he'd been training to be a suicide bomber from the time he was conceived. I don't like this narrative, and we see it time and time again, and I think that the media has to really do a better job at just painting things for what it is and being very unbiased about the way that they tell a story. Also, shooting up the joint in Maryland was a young boy that was in a relationship with this girl, broke up. Like, I mean, what are we doing, people? That's what happens in high school. You date, you break up, you get your heart broken, you move on. But that wasn't good enough for him. He thought, well, I dated you, the relationship is over, I'm gonna go shoot you. And that's what he did. And then he died because he got in a scuffle with like an officer, and he was shot to death. Why lose your life for something so silly? So the girl is in critical condition, and then another boy was shot as well that was in the hallway. he used his father's gun, and it was a legally owned gun, but not everybody's in trouble, and you're the one that's dead. I don't understand. Also, right here in our backyard in New York, another young boy brought a gun, fully loaded gun to school. No one was injured. We're not sure as to why he did it, but you know, it's just going downhill. I really hope that this March for Our Lives is taking place on March 24th really sends a strong message to everybody that we cannot continue to go down this path. You know what? Every time I talk to you guys, I'm saying like, oh, this country is in a terrible state, And I really believe that at some point, honey, China or Russia just go come colonize us, and we just, because it seems like we're not able to really control what's going on here with us. We're supposed to be the leaders of the free world and set great examples, but we're not really doing so good of a job anymore. Somebody that wants to do a good job as governor of New York is Cynthia Nixon. So Cynthia Nixon, you may know her as Miranda on Sex and the City, one of my favorite shows. I am so sad that they are not making a Sex and the City 3 movie, but she is running for office against Andrew Cuomo, who is currently the governor of New York, and he's going to be running for a third time now. Cynthia, she has great aspirations to really bring better services to the children of New York City, as well as fight for the wealth inequality that is very prevalent in New York. And I think those are great ambitions. I like the fact that she's not, I mean, she's a woman that has some money, of course, but she's not super, super rich. So she's actually looking for campaign funds from just the regular public. I want to see what her campaign's ads about. I want to see the debates between them, and then hopefully, you know, I might vote for her. But what I'm not going to vote for is this Mr. Kevin Federline, who's Britney's ex-husband, asking for more money. So Britney and Kevin Federline, you know, were married, and they have 2 children together, an 11-year-old and 12-year-old boy. She gives him $20,000 a month in child support, and now he's asking for more, simply off the strength that she's making more money. Okay, but they've been divorced for quite some time, and just because she has this whole Vegas show coming and her image is just really hit the reset button, he thinks, well, I'm going to ask for more. I don't think he deserves it. He's claiming that he wants to be able to afford the children the same kind of lifestyle that Britney gives them when they're with her, like taking them on vacations and buying them lavish things. You know what? She should do that with them because she doesn't have them majority of the time, and also she's the one making the bank. She's the one bringing all the bacon, so why couldn't she do that with them? I think that that's totally okay. I feel like if you've been married for a certain time, because you know, celebrity culture, when they're married and the divorce, whoever makes the most money pays the spousal support and the child support, and that's totally okay. But I think that there's got to be a cap on it. Like, okay, so we were married for 5 years, then for the next 5 years after we've been divorced, you go get this money, and then after that it's done. Because they claim this whole, the life you've become accustomed to. Yeah, but you got to learn to become unaccustomed to the life, because if we are no longer together, I've moved on, you've moved on, but you're still in my pockets. Why? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think that she doesn't need to give him any more money, and he doesn't even have a valid case. People are saying, well, you know, he's got 6 children, his family's expanded, so he thinks that he wants to, you know, feed his children on Britney's dime. No. I don't agree with it at all. I think that he just needs to get a job and provide the lifestyle that he wants for his boys on his own strength. Let's get into some reality roundup, because guys, you know that I only have like a limited brain space available for reality TV, and I can only handle like 2 at a time. And so the 2 that you know that I've been keeping up with is Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. And so in Married to Medicine, the season is over, and they're currently showing the reunion shows. Now on the second taping of the reunion, just some bombs were dropped, and people were just behaving inappropriately. Like, Heavenly, I'm gonna need you to grow up. She went and drew this thing on Mariah's door, and it was just very immature. Dr. G, he went to a hotel with a woman, and we're gonna find out what happened at this hotel room in the final taping of the reunion show. You know, their marriage is really internal. I mean, that's kind of what the season was about, just like tumultuous marriage relationships. And I am very disturbed about the way that he behaves when he talks to Quad. I'm like, you are a therapist, like, you're a psychiatrist. What example are you setting for your patients? Are you serious? Anyway, he always talks to her about the money, like, I provide for you, and I spend this, and I pay for that. That's what you're supposed to do, because that's what husbands are for. Yes, the Bible says that the husband should provide, and you're not doing anything extra by providing. So you need me to pat you on the back for that? I'm saying they're speaking two different languages. He's speaking French, she's speaking English, and they clearly need a translator in the form of a therapist to get them on the same page, because I feel like I understand where Quad is coming from as well. Like, you need to love me on an emotional level. I need to feel a different level of intimacy that has nothing to do with like sex, but just like we need to be connected, you know, on an emotional, like mental level. Anyway, if anybody was to call it quits, I would think it would be Jackie and Curtis, but they are making it, and that's beautiful to see, because the truth of the matter is no one could tell people in a marriage what to do, right? Marriages are difficult. They go through all kinds of ups and downs, and yeah, we've got a lens into their world because we're watching through the TV, but the truth is only they can decide what will really work for them. And so I'm happy that they found a way to work it out. Unlike Cecil and Simone, they are throwing away 21 years of marriage just because of, you know, they're just not able to work it out, and it's really difficult to see. What was also difficult to watch in Housewives of Atlanta was the conversation between Kim and Candy at the restaurant in the last episode. So Candy went to meet with Kim, and, you know, they went down the path of like how Kim goes everywhere with Kroy, takes her everywhere. He's like her Uber driver. Matter of fact, he's really like her chauffeur because he waits, and Uber drivers don't do that. You know, I was laughing because I'm like, man, you know, at one point I probably was like a Kim because my husband drove me everywhere because I didn't drive. But truth be told is, I would not have him sitting there like waiting for me as I'm having lunch with my girlfriend. Just, he's not a puppet. He's got a life of his own. Maybe Kroy needs to get a life of his own, or a job, something, because if you got so much time to just drive her everywhere, wait for her, I mean, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. I'm not saying you can't love your husband and all that, because I certainly love my husband, but honey, I need a break sometimes, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. And she needs a break too. She got him and the 6 children. Get away from them and chill with your girlfriends. And you don't have to every 5 seconds say, oh, Kroy's waiting, Kroy this. You know, she has a serious drinking problem too, so that's probably why she takes Kroy everywhere, because she shows up drunk and then she drinks some more. And so she needs him to hold her hand in and hold her hand out, I guess. Anyway, her and Nene, you know, are in this huge war. And we saw it play out a few months ago on social media because it happened a long time ago, but it's not airing on the show, so we're kind of reliving it. But Nene and her have the whole war with Riel taking pictures in her bathroom and the roaches. And listen, then it just kind of, that episode just showed Nene going on a downward spiral, because she also was supposed to be on tour opening up for Escape, but then she was on her own comedy tour, and a woman in the front heckled her and said to her, oh, go kill yourself. And so her response to the woman was, I hope you get raped by your Uber driver tonight. And that was just not appropriate. You know, I'm not defending either person. I think that as people, we need to really exercise self-control. And especially as a celebrity, like, you're in the public eye even more so, and everything you do is scrutinized. So I think that what Nene should have done was say, you know, security, get her out of here or whatever. But to come back with something so harsh as well, and especially with the Me Too Time's Up movement, oh no, you can't say things like that. And so Escape was just like, nope, you cannot come on tour with us anymore. You know what? I am waiting to see next episode, because Kenya, who has been off the scene, you know, she didn't go to Barcelona with the girls because she's trying to be a wife, honey. And so her husband is finally showing up. Finally, we get to see this Mark Daly on the television. They've been filming the reunion because, you know, Eva's pregnant, and she might give birth any minute now, so they probably filmed early just to be able to accommodate her. So there's some talks about Kenya claiming to be pregnant, because I shared with you in a prior video, because remember I told you guys, you miss a video, you miss a lot, you gotta watch everything. But Kenya was spotted down in Barbados at a fertility clinic. So if she is pregnant, I am happy for her. She's a woman of a particular age. She's been wanting a husband and a family for a very long time, and she seems to be having those things right now, which is good for her. So if that's the case, hey, that is all of the pop talk that I have for you guys today. If you've made it till the end, I hope you enjoyed. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I love to hear your pop thoughts as always. So comment, communicate with me. This is my 10th video video. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you guys, and I've got lots more in store for you. So please let me know your feedback. And as always, until next time, darlings, ciao.